Welcome back to Satisfactory. You know, I always forget every single time. There's a step between fused frames, which we have here, and nuclear pasta, which obviously I plan to have here. So we're gonna need to add radios to our to-do list. And actually it's probably a good thing because we've got plenty of radio being made. Over here in our computer complex, we also might have something where we can, we've got a little shipping area, so we could connect it to that, export those radios with fuel, assuming we already have fuel. I guess that's the first thing we should check. Oh yeah, I see red fuel all over the place over here. And I probably went overboard and have a huge storage complex of it. No worries about the fuel. The computer complex. I think all of the good stuff is down here. It's going to be a bit of a trip unless I go out over here as like a little additional export point. This is the 1.0 version of my drone port hub. Connect the fuel, then we connect the power. Can I fit unit on 2 lines? Okay, that'll work. Let's do that. Computer, radio, control, export. Luckily, we truly don't need a ton. Should I leave this open to more items? Hey, that's strangely in the ballpark. I want access to all of the radio control units when it comes time. I'm also sure that we're gonna need radio control units for future builds here locally. Let's see what that, if that's true. If we have any more computer complex style things that we're going to want to work on. This is the one we're planning for. But it looks like, I mean, turbo motors. There's a couple things in the future we haven't unlocked yet. We've got motors, radios, and so the only thing we really need are cooling systems. We need to knock cooling systems out. That would allow us to knock out turbo motors. And I'm just trying to unlock a little bit of this so we can get some of the work regarding the radios started. I didn't know we were using casing over here already. Man, that's putting a lot of stress on our casing. Our casing factory is not set up for anywhere near that kind of load. Oh, we've got a full... We're really trying to do the portable miner and the digital uploader thing. Apparently we only can hold one stack. Two and a half per minute. This stack might need to get taller. It's actually a small number of radios. So they are side by side. Yeah, this is going to need to be extended at some point. 5, 10, 15, 20. 20 radios a second. So technically for what we're doing, that's actually a good number. I don't know why straight is giving me that little bit of a crookedness at the end. We'll leave room for the other items if any other items happen to make their way in. And we'll just make the connection down low. I think radios are yellow. That's the color that jumps out at me anyway. Yellow and gray. I like it. Supercomputer, huh? I actually have extra supercomputers lying around waiting to be uploaded. Are we not using plastic over here? I find that hard to believe. It appears to be true, though. Whatever turbo motors we had, we've already set them all up, so I'm gonna reclaim. I'm gonna reclaim this. I guess technically I don't want a drone on here. You know, before we leave though, I want to make sure that we got the fuel set up correctly and everything is working. I've had enough issues with fuel. Speaking of which, let's take a quick peek to make sure our power is still working. 28,000 megawatts. Those are good megawatts. So I guess now we should plan on... So the question is, what should we do about... I guess I should put together a little blueprint that would allow us to turn our fuse cubes into pressure cubes. And then we can just set that step back from here. We can put the pressure cubes in there. Right, so it goes out this way. Nice shadow. Pressure cubes. And then nuclear pasta. Unless I want to try to do a quarter transition and build a third one out here. Either way, I think the point is the same. We need to get the pressure cubes going. Do I want to put in... All right, let's look at the recipe. All right, we're doubling back on ourselves kind of a lot here. Let's check the recipe for pressure cubes, I think. One per frame. So the question is, that lets me know how many of these I need, because this is going to be the limiting factor. Fused frames. But since it's only using a assembler, we could probably put, 4 or 5 of those things in a single blueprint. If this ever runs at full speed, 1.5 per. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14. And I'm pretty sure there's 2 of them in there. 28. So there's 42. So if I want to I know it's rounding up over and over again, so we end up with more capacity than we actually need. But if we've got 42 fused inputs, then we need 42 machines to process it all. Ugh, this last one's going to be annoying. Yeah, I can't really fit another set in this way either. For some reason, I definitely want to put in more than 3. But it seems like it's destined to be 3. Interestingly enough, we only need a 3 spot of that. Maybe a wall. We'll label the output sign. I think the output should be the outer. Can I get in and out for all of these? I think I can, actually. If I do a classic 3-way splitter. Then we split this one. Maybe split it twice. So we have room to get out of here. Okay, let's just set these recipes. One, it's always good to make sure that you're using the right machine. Two, it's always good to not forget to set the recipe and then set the whole blueprint up, and then remember you have to go through and touch every machine now because you forgot to set the recipe. This should be pretty straightforward if we split our way down. Okay, hold on. Obviously, I did not intend for that to be the way. And then we'll just connect that out to the next level. Done and done. And this relatively simple option, actually the middle one here, okay, both inputs are connected. Now it's just a matter of getting all these outputs. Ooh. We'll set these to 12. And then we'll just connect these across the board. We obviously want a merger at this point. So the level above comes in. Connects with this merger. And then everything connects with this output. I think that's pretty much it. Straightforward, done and done. The pressure cubes are actually kind of stylistically boring. Gotta remember to put a roof on this thing. And then we can put some power. The double power lines don't play well. Gotta stick with the regular wall outlets. 10 power connections or 7 power connections. 7's probably enough. Come on, one more. Effectively, I think I'm going to plan this facade to be mostly solid. Maybe some windows just in this area. I think that's pretty much it. Okay. I think we'll call that there. Relatively quick one, but I think we're setting ourselves up for what we need. I guess I'll go ahead and drag the radios down to the base level. That might make sense even to connect the radios in over here. Once we decide where we're gonna put together these pressure cubes. I mean, a nice little, this is north, so little northwest action. A little tiny factory where we put together our pressure cubes before we send them along to manage the nuclear pasta. Could work. But we'll figure all that out in the next episode. Thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. We'll see you next time.